Welcome to the Redefine Podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about social media overwhelm. That's right, social media overwhelm. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind you, if you're not already registered, for this weekend seminar, there's still time. It's happening Saturday, April 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Network marketing in the digital age. It's a virtual seminar, so it's all online. It's all on Zoom, and it's live. And it's open to everybody, whether you're in network marketing or not. But especially if you're in network marketing, it's going to be a really important conversation, given what's happening not just within network marketing and the direct selling profession, but in the entire marketplace, how everything has shifted and changed over the last, well, really this change has been happening in the last 10 years, but especially post-pandemic, and how consumer behavior has changed, how business behavior has changed. And so we're going to be talking all about that on this free seminar. Again, it's Saturday, April 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will have a replay available, but of course that's only going to be available to anybody that is registered, right? That is registered. So you can register at ronniecruz.com/seminar. The link will be in the show notes of this particular episode. That said, the topic for today, overwhelm, right? I'm going into this weekend with this seminar. I still have to prepare. I just got back from Cancun. I'm still not home yet. So I have all these things that are just throwing my schedule off. And then on top of that, I have all my social media and my online content to publish that I have to stay on top of. So it's been pretty overwhelming coming back from Mexico, because it's been a lot of catch up, right? Last thing that you want to do coming back from a trip like that is getting back to work. And having had that time off, I had a lot of work to catch up on, and so I was really feeling pretty overwhelmed yesterday. And I realized, well, this is a good topic, right? Because what do you do? What do you do when it comes to being overwhelmed with your content creation and content publishing? I think the first thing is, and I've talked about this in the past, as you get into online marketing, as you start taking your business on socials, definitely first and foremost, focus on one singular platform first, right? I don't want you to come into this thing thinking that you have to do them all. I know there are advantages for each specific platform. I also understand that, the notion is you want to reach as many people as possible, right? So why not get on as many platforms as possible? But that's just a quick recipe for burnout, right? Because it's just a tremendous amount of work. Easier way into it, and the way you ease your way into it is by focusing on one particular platform, right? We've talked about that before in the past. Now, beyond that, your workload can still be pretty overwhelming, right? Like producing a piece of content and then publishing every day, it can get tough, right? Like, and that's, for most people, on top of having a full-time job, on top of whatever family obligations you might have, and then the other things that you might be doing for your business. So there's always a lot to do, and with the growing need for online marketing, that list of things to do is ever growing, right? It's ever growing. So we can easily be overwhelmed. One of the things I like to do is to just really, I have all these things that I know I have to take care of, but I only tackle and think about one thing, right? So that's the first step. Really figure out what's the most important thing, what's the thing that's directly in front of you that you need to attack, and attack it. Get it done. Just focus on that one thing. And by being very task oriented in that regard, it allows your mind to kind of just focus your attention on the singular thing, as opposed to trying to manage mentally everything that you have going on, right? And that's where the overwhelm really comes from. It's having to think about all the different things that you need to get done. You end up not doing anything, right? It's actually very paralyzing. So just attack that first thing and focus on that until it's done. And again, that allows you to kind of hone in your attention so that it's not completely scattered. And that really goes a long way to relieving the overwhelm, that feeling of being overwhelmed. Now, as far as, attacking the list of things to do, here's a really, really important thing, right? That I want you to consider, because it's easy to attack things that are easy to complete. However, that might not necessarily be the most productive, because sometimes the easiest tasks to complete aren't necessarily the most important ones. So when you do this, when you're, you're thinking about all the million and one things that you have to do, I want you to make sure that the first things that you're going to attack are going to be the most important in terms of moving the needle closer towards your goals, right? Closer towards the outcomes that you're trying to create. Otherwise, you're going to check off stuff all day long that really didn't move the needle because they're the easiest and they're the most comfortable to do. And you get that, you get that kind of biofeedback, and it becomes a loop where it's like, oh, I'm getting stuff done. This feels productive, when it's really not productive, right? Not in the sense of, you're taking care of the most important things. So it's really, attack one thing at a time and make sure it's the next most important thing at that given time that's gonna move that needle closer towards your goals, right? You really have to prioritize in that regard, and that'll just help you do it. And the last thing is, if you don't get everything done today, there's always tomorrow, right? It's not the end of the world. I know sometimes I push myself pretty hard, and I realize, okay, like I only have so many hours in the day. It's, there's some days where it's like it's 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still working. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous, right? Like you need to rest, you need to sleep. It's the whole mechanism. Your marketing isn't going to fall apart if you put everything else off until tomorrow, right? So there's always tomorrow. Ideally, yeah, we want to get everything done today, but sometimes it's just not possible, and you have to give yourself grace because you're only one person. And then beyond that, once your workload does get to that point where it's like, man, I can do all this stuff, but my time is better served focusing on a handful of things. Let me outsource some of the more administrative work and some of the more kind of menial tasks that other people can do, right? So that's I think where it's at, right? Social media overwhelm can very much be a real thing. Just make sure you're attacking that most important thing first, and make sure you're prioritizing that list of tasks that you're attacking, okay? All right, so that's my message for today. More from me tomorrow. Again, if you haven't registered for the Network Marketing in the Digital Age seminar that's happening on April 1st, make sure you register. It's at ronniecruz.com/seminar. We'll see you in tomorrow's episode.